The reason why most relationships don't last is because you outgrew them or they outgrew you. Because you're always transforming. You're never static. Because once you are static, once you're not growing, once you're like frigid, it's because you're dead. Because the dead does not grow. So in your life, you're constantly growing, and that's what astrology is. That's what the astro chart is. The astro chart is teaching you the areas, your blueprint energy of the karma that you have built throughout many lifetimes, that you need to now perfect the next level, take it to the next level, to evolve into something better. Okay? And the pressure and the difficulty, the struggle that you go through to develop that certain level is kind of like a diamond. It's like polishing a diamond. Okay? It requires a lot of pressure and a lot of struggle, and then you get the diamond. And that's like you. It's constantly shattering your ego and growing a new ego. Okay? And that's why sometimes you say, my God, I can't believe I like that person. That's because you outgrew that person already. You already outgrew that person. You are another person now. You have another development in your soul level. And let me say something about the difference between soul and the difference between spirit. Soul is you yourself. But the spirit is your essence. It's what you radiate. It's what your soul is radiating. So when they say so when you hear the word soul is you've always been. Okay? You've always been. But the spirit is what changes. Okay? It's the level of energy and what type of energy you're carrying around. Okay? And that is what the blueprint of the astral chart is. It's the energy that you came here, the doorway. When you were born, there were certain aspects in the sky, and that's like a doorway of where you came from. That emanates the energy that's proper and the proper environment for you to experience this life. And you could grow out of whatever it is that you experience, and hopefully you grow up. You don't grow downwards. You don't get shattered by the obstacles that present themselves, that are in the chart, that are a requirement for you to grow, and you have to overgrow them. That's what self-mastery is. And people don't understand this. Okay, but once you understand this, you will be a million years ahead. Now, when you're looking for someone, you have to know yourself first, of course, and you have to know what it is that you're missing. Are you missing affection, which is water? Are you missing energy, which is fire? Are you missing physical, which is probably money, or maybe someone who is physical and gives you motivation, which could also be fire? Or are you missing air, which is intellect? What are you missing in your life? What do you find missing in your life? What are you attracted to that you feel missing on yourself? And you get that awe factor when you see someone. You're like, oh my God, wow, oh, that person is beautiful. Well, guess what? You're missing earth. And by having a beautiful person around you, you kind of feel low self-esteem, and you actually feel like it's completing you, right? Or maybe you don't feel that smart, and you're looking for someone that's smart or smarter. Or maybe you're missing that feeling of being given love unconditionally because you didn't receive it from your parents. Okay, and maybe that's the water factor. Maybe you don't have any energy, and maybe you need someone to motivate you. That's the fire aspect. So if somebody just comes along and tries to convince you to like them, and you really don't, but then you're like, man, I can't find nobody better, then you're in for something. You're in for your own demise, because you're not going to be developing what it is that you need to develop, and you're just going to be in a fruitless relationship, and you're going to be miserable, and you're going to want to get out eventually. Okay, and then they're just fulfilling their needs, okay, of possessing someone and taking away from you whatever it is that they need from you, whatever aspect they need from you, and yet you are not going to be able to reciprocate any aspect from them. That's why you should always be aware. Okay, if you don't like someone, be aware that you don't like them. Okay, and don't just nod your head and say, well, maybe if I give them a chance, or maybe if I give her a chance. No, you have to understand that you have certain needs in your chart, certain needs in your spirit that needs to be fulfilled. Okay, and it could only be fulfilled by being around the right people. You know what I mean? Or else they're gonna be vampiring, and they're gonna be sucking in all your aspects, and they're gonna be learning something or attaining something, and you are gonna be pretty empty, and you're gonna miss your love bus. If somebody comes along that you really like, then you can't be with them. And you also have to understand that not everybody that's alive is going to be with someone or end up being married to somebody. Sometimes that process of finding someone, you find yourself. You find that Venus first house. That process of of being disappointed, and finally you reach home. Finally it's going to get to a point where you're going to be too disappointed, and then you're going to come back home to the first house, you know, from where you emanated from, you know. But then you can't be too into yourself, because then you're going to end up going back to the 7th house. The scales are going to tip back to the 7th house, you know what I mean? And you just want to be right in the middle, you know. And then there are those relationships that last a lifetime, and maybe because the lesson of that lifetime was to learn that yes, it is possible to find someone and to trust, okay, and to be loved. Because maybe in your other life you kind of have the opposite effect of the pendulum. Maybe you weren't loved, and now this lifetime you had to learn how to trust and understand that yes, it is possible that you could find yourself. Because once you find someone, you're actually finding yourself. But you could find yourself through someone else. But seeking for love doesn't have to always be like that. Eventually you're gonna have to come and return to one, which you are one person. You are everyone. And eventually that is the main focus, that is the main goal, to understand that you are you, and you are really the master of your life, and nobody can make you feel inferior. Once you give yourself all the elements and everything that you need, you're not going to need it from anybody else, okay? And then you're going to be more specific about what it is that you need, okay? Because now you're not missing too many things. A person that has Venus in the 7th house is missing a lot of things. Therefore, they jump over hoops to get whoever they need to fulfill that duty. But once you have that planet in the 1st house, Venus, then you're going to be more a little bit more complete in the self-love department. So you're going to be a little bit more specific and more selective in picking somebody, you know what I mean? It's going to be a little more difficult, because now you're not going to believe everything everybody says. You're not going to jump over hoops. You're not going to be susceptible to anything. You're going to be the one that's going to be choosing, because you're the one that's magnetic. You're the one that's drawing people to you, okay? You're not the chaser, okay? You're the person that attracts. And sometimes people that have magnetism are the hardest to satisfy, because they are already satisfied, okay? So they need something that's extraordinary, something that's beyond, that's rare, you know what I mean? Because they're already too individualistic. So now they need something that's going to blow their mind, because everything is average for them, you know what I mean? So it's very important to understand that the reason why relationships don't work is because you actually outgrew them, okay? And you keep outgrowing them. If you're not outgrowing them, if you're still in the same relationship, it's because you haven't outgrown them, okay? And it's because you are still learning that lesson that it is that the life gave you, whether it is that you're supposed to, whether it is that it is possible, okay, that you could be loved, and eventually you are the love, okay? People are just reflections, okay? So I hope you enjoyed this video, and namaste.